Alright, if we pull up the reference image again, then we'll see that I have these two pipes coming down in here. So let's go and add those right now. So whenever I'm adding pipes to a structure like this, I don't want to just add the pipe by itself. I want to add in some kind of a connection bracket, just something that the pipe can go into so it doesn't look like it just stops when it gets to another volume. So let's make that right now. So a really basic one that we can make, I'll just make a new layer here. I'll call this one pipe connector. I'll upres that once and you'll understand why I only did so once in a second. Even though these are going to be pretty small when we finally put them onto our object, we're not going to make them small to begin with. So I'm going to start out with my primitives. I'm going to use a new primitive, the cylinder. And then with the cylinder primitive, I can grab the top red ring and I can drag that in so that it's a little narrower on top. I'll hit add one more time. And now we get this kind of a structure. Then I will make the cylinder radiuses the same. So as you see, I'm just editing the top and bottom radius. And I can use the blue circle to make the whole thing narrower. And I'll change my primitive mode from add to subtract. Now I've got this little hole in here. Alright, we're almost done. Back to the primitives tool. I'll grab a cube. I'm going to reset its position, just bring it back to the center here. Undo use fillet. And what I want is I want to have, well, let's go with 6 of these going all the way around. So the way I can do that is if I use radial symmetry, make sure it's enabled. So you see that yellow line, you see all of my 4 virtual cursors. I don't want 4 though, I want 6. Because we're going to make this much, much smaller. Going to my top view. Can move this roughly into place. Make sure it's up on top, and then scale it down. Now, as I scale it down, watch what happens to this number down here by pipe connector. See how it's going up? As we scale an object down, the resolution will increase to compensate. As you see now, it's a very high resolution, in fact. I'll duplicate it, and then I'll merge them. So I'll right-click, merge with, large pipe connector, and now it's just one object. But as you can see, even though up close it's very faceted, because we're making them so small on our model, it doesn't really matter in the end. And I can just sculpt in a connector here. And the way I can do that is by making a custom brush. Now, if I go to the Artman pen pack here, that's just where I've put them. It could be anywhere, but you'll see I have this brush right here, this one. And if I go to extrude, then you'll see the kind of shape that I can get. Now, how exactly did I make this though? Well, let's make a new one. So down here I can hit the little plus sign for new, and I can create using a curve. So what I want is, this is basically the profile that goes up the side. So if I select this one, you'll see that that profile is a straight line. With this one, it's an S curve. With this one, it's a circle. So when I make a new one, if I just hit OK, I'll have an identical profile to this one. The line we're drawing is just 1/2 of that red curve you see. All right, let's actually make it this time. So I'm going to start out by making it flat at the top. So I'll add in another point here, and then I can start to move it around. I'll right click to make it a straight point. Put it, say, right about this line. Bring this one down. There we go, that should be something. Looks very similar to that, but I just wanted to show you how it's made. So now, I can go ahead and make some very basic pipe connectors. So it's just a little bit of detail without a whole lot of work involved. And now I'm going to add in the pipes themselves. So to do that, I'm going to make a new layer. I'll call this one Pipes. I'm going to make the resolution of this one pretty high, about 8 times resolution. And I'll break out the Curves tool. The hotkey for that on my machine is Shift-C, but you can find it down there in the Objects tab. So what I'm going to do is I'll just start with a curve down here at the bottom. Going to click up in open space, and then click again down here. Now this is going to get a bit narrower towards the bottom, and that's okay. Maybe there we go. And I'm going to do another one. So I'll hit new curve right here, just so I'm not adding more points to the first curve. Okay, so now that I have this, these are just basic tube extrusions. I want them to be a little bit more detailed than that. So what you can do is you can go over to the Splines panel and you can pick one of these that you like, or you can try and make your own. I'm just going to pick one that I already have. So I could pick, say, this one. You see we get this nice corrugated tube. Now once we have it, just hit enter. Alright, so here I want there to be kind of a very thick panel, and on that panel I want this edge to be a bit softer. So let's work on that. Perfect. And then what I want to do is I want to scrape away at this. So I can grab my scrape tool, and instead of just trying to scrape away at it, what I can do is I can go to this one, the curve stroke mode. I can click on one end, click on the other, hit escape, and then hit enter, and it'll start carving away at that as many times as I need it to. And then what I can go over with is I can just very lightly smooth that over a bit.